What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more David Bowie as we continue through The Man Who Sold the World, 1970. Thank you to all the folks following along, as well as Judith, who kicked off this deep dive. And the next track in the playlist is Running Gun Blues, which I don't quite know how to read. There's a poetry to it, there's a bit of cryptic opacity. Obviously, using the word blues maybe suggests a sonic character, and certainly blues music, and more specifically blues songs, speak to a person who the world has done wrong and who is either crying out over that or trying to persist in the face of unfair adversity. And in that regard, I wonder, running guns, like that phrase by itself, can mean gun smuggling or, illegal arms sales, but it's running gun, singular, blues. So yeah, there's an intriguing combination of words, but I don't quite know what to make of it, and even if it was a bit more clear, I would imagine whatever narrative or scene painting it's in would be, the meaning would exceed the literal meaning of the phrase itself. So let's give it a listen and see what I can catch. This is David Bowie, the song is Running Gun Blues, and it's from his 1970 album, The Man Who Sold the World.
I count the corpses on my left, I find I'm not so tidy. So I better get away, better make it today. I've cut 23 down since Friday. But I can't control it. My face is drawn, my instinct still emotes it. I slash the gold, I kill them dead, I broke the goose, I cracked their heads, I bumped them out from under their beds, but now I've got no running gun blues. Stop the war, the general squashed and stifled. But I'll slip out again tonight, 'cause they haven't taken back my rifle. For I promote oblivion, and I'll plug a few civilians. I'll smash them cold, I'll kill them dead, I'll break the boots, I'll crack their heads, I'll slice them till they're running red. But now I've got the running gun blues. I'll smash them cold, I'll kill them dead, I'll break the boots, I'll cut their heads, I'll slice them till they're running red. But now I've got the running gun blues.
Crazy musicianship on this song, which definitely has a bit of a blues rock flavor, but also a bit of a epic classic rock vibe too. Lyrically, it's much darker than maybe I would have thought. My best guess is this is actually like a commentary on the Vietnam War, maybe on American involvement in the Vietnam War, and maybe even more specifically, I think it's My Lai, not My Lai, but My Lai massacre, in which a bunch of civilians were killed, like I think a few dozen before it was stopped by one of the officers who was like part of the company that was carrying out the massacre. But I mean, he's making reference to like, killing them dead, killing them cold, and something about the red, I think, of blood, and, his rifle and so on. But now he's got the running gun blues, whether, I don't know if that's because it's like in the wake of what's happened and there's maybe some remorse, maybe it's just like, now some of the people who committed acts like that, who were involved, and definitely there was violence, I forget how many thousands of U.S. troops died, but, someone who's in a violent environment like that, then going back to a, like, normal civilian life, one wonders what that transition is like. But I do think the reference to, like, killed a few civilians is maybe in the context of, being in a war where, it's very much like a guerrilla war, and, there's civilians who are being killed, under the justification that the enemy is hiding within the civilians and so on. So I'm going to look it up because, like, I'm trying to remember what year that massacre was. I want to say like 69, and if that's right, then it's at least possible. So it took place in 68, I believe. Is 66? What does it say? It's going to be 68, right? I don't think it could be... Yeah, 68. Oh man, it was way more people killed than I thought. It's like around at least like 350, maybe up to 500. And most of them women, children, and elderly men. So yes, this feels like it could very well be a depiction of that, but from the point of view of one of the ultra-violent soldiers who, again, ran amok, if you will. So yeah, maybe there's a less specific meaning here. Maybe it is, about the Vietnam War, the Indo-Chinese wars, or maybe it's about warfare more broadly, and the idea that, again, when you have tools of lethal violence, when you are in a dangerous and unpredictable situation, and when justification is given even when non-combatants are killed, something like that happening is, if not inevitable, surely very likely on a long enough timeline. But yeah, definitely crazy vocals from Mr. Bowie, including, like, at the very beginning, it almost reminded me of his very first album, which, people explain to me is kind of in the music hall tradition, and it's very quirky, including in the vocal delivery. It felt like that here. Now, over the course of the song, the sonics were ultimately very different from the sonics on his first album, but vocally it did feel a bit more like he was in character and delivering his vocals in a non-standard way, meaning like as if he was affecting a voice, not just using his normal, if you will, singing voice. But as I said, really cool sonics, like crazy cycling drums, some great guitar, and just, as I said, sort of this like blues rock meets classic rock vibe. I do think there was a harmonica, but it was like very high-pitched and small. Like it wasn't kind of wailing away and, very obviously like a harmonica solo. It felt like more of a supporting element in the larger scheme, but definitely contributed to that blues rock feel. So yeah, crazy one. I am curious to hear what people have to say about it lyrically. So let me know, and I will see you next time. Peace.